On this episode, MLW Fusion has some great things that took place. We're going to have a casket match for the first time. It's for the Caribbean title between King Muertes versus Tom Filthy Lawler. But also a lot of things takes place. Of course, the featherweights take place, and there's going to be an open challenge by Alex Kane. But also, we got AEW Dynamite. As you know, Jon Moxley is no longer involved in the AEW World Title Eliminator due to his problem that he has with alcohol. But right now, it's been told that Tony Khan may have found a replacement. We'll find out who will be facing Orange Cassidy. But also, we got the TBS title opening rounds taking place as well. And of course, the AAA tag team titles will be on the line. And also going to review 3 past events by 3 different promotions, or should I say, the Yoshi promotions. We got Tokyo Joshi Pro, World Woman Pro Wrestling Diana, and of course, Stardom. So, let's get started with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay right here. So, let's begin with Major League Wrestling with MLW Fusion ALPHA number 7. It opened up with Cesar Duran saying that there's going to be a sacrifice. What does that mean exactly? Well, we don't know until he was interrupted rudely by 5150. Now, it appears that 5150 got rid of Injustice. Now it appears 5150 has something on their mind. They're demanding a shot of the MLW World Tag Team titles against Los Parks. So, frankly, Los Parks showed to give them a little ass whooping of their mind. So it became a brawl. Now we're going to see an outlaw war between both 5150 and Los Parks. So this is going to be huge. Now, while this carnage was trying to be dispersed, here comes Filthy Tom Lawler along with Kevin Koo, who is demanding Cesar for a title shot. So, however, Cesar Durant had other plans. He decided, you'll get a title shot. It's going to be in a casket match for the Caribbean title against King Muertes, which is the last thing that Lawler expected. Of course, the commentators made a really interesting point that pointed out Lawler has a history of opening his mouth, and I think this is one where he, frankly, did not expect. But however, later on, it did show he tried to have a plan played out to find a way to get rid of King Muertes to ensure he wins. But Kevin Koo, on the other hand, he feels that the plan is not rock solid. I mean, it tells the story about it, but I'll explain to you guys at the end of this about why was this match being placed. Now, the opening match we have is a pair of the women's featherweight matches. We have Willow Nightingale teaming with Zoe Sky, who is debuting for the first time in MLW to take on the Sea Stars, Ashley Vox and Delmi Exo. The match was pretty good. It showed really great potential. However, during the match, when Willow Nightingale was outside the ring, she was viciously attacked by Holiday. Out of nowhere, she attacked her and beat her down to underneath the ring. Now, when the match was over, the Sea Stars, along with Zoe Sky, they realized something is odd, and they noticed that Holiday was there, and they just looked on the ring and they had to escort her to the back. However, have you guys known the history of Cesar Duran when he was known as Dario Cueto? He gives a special bonus for those who bring in violence. Now, officially, MLW will normally give Holiday a fine, but this time, Durant gave Holiday a added bonus. So basically, we're seeing something new with MLW having Cesar Duran taking the helm. Now, as you know what happened last time, Calvin Tankman was viciously attacked by both King Mo and Alex Kane. Now, Alex Kane's plan was to ensure he feels, why in the world I'm in an alternate? I should be in the Opera Cup tournament. Now, this is the same attitude we had last year with King Mo. King Mo has been trying last year when Loki was there, saying it's BS that King Loki is involved. He is hurt. You guys are going to put him through. It's a violation of protocol. But it tells the story. Like Alex Kane wants to be in that spot, and he believes the little birdie's telling me I'm in. Ha ha ha! But fortunately, the news came around later with Alicia Toot saying he's in training, but however, he is not pulling away from his position. However, this led to the next match where Alex Kane put himself in an open challenge match against anybody, and the person who responded was Warhorse. I was surprised to see Warhorse there because we all love Warhorse. He is pounds of heavy metal, guys. Who doesn't love heavy metal? Me, I love heavy metal. I'm a Metallica fan. I've been all kinds of metal fans. I'm like that. That's what I love about it. But however, it did not end well for Warhorse, so he kind of body slammed them 5 times to ensure that he stays down. Now, Alicia Atout wanted to get the reaction from Alex Kane, telling him Calvin Tankman is not backing down. Now, Alex Kane is confident enough that he will be in the Opera Cup tournament. He wants to take Calvin Tankman's spot. Because this is the same thing that King Mo did. He is saying he's medically hurt. You're making a mistake. However, we'll see what happens then. Because anything could happen, especially with a guy like Cesar Duran, who could actually... If I was Alex Kane and King Mo, I would make a deal with the devil. That's how I would play it. Trust me. That's what Alex Kane would do. But we'll see if that's going to take place. That's one of my theories right now. Now, as you know, the National Openweight title is now vacant. It appears now we're going to have a ladder match in a 5-way. Whoever's going to become the new inaugural National Openweight champion. Now, here are 4 out of the 5 competitors they already announced. We have the GOAT, the young GOAT, Myron Reed taking his spot. We got Alex Kane, which is a good opportunity. We got Senshi, Alex Shelley, and there's a mystery wildcard. Now, who is the mystery wildcard? Anything could happen, but it's going to be great. Now, in recent time, we have noticed something has changed right now. Contra Unit has been a constant terror with MLW since they first arrived 2 years ago. However, we're seeing a bit of a dissension over the leadership. Mads Kruger has now declared himself as the leader. What does this mean for Joseph Samael? I mean, he believes he's still the leader. But right now, his focus is to annihilate Alex Hammerstone and whoever's siding with him. As you know, Indaku and Holiday are part of that match. But who are the 2 people that will fill up the spots? That's an open air question right there for all of us. But do we see an eternal power struggle between Joseph Samael and Mads Kruger? Could Mads Kruger eliminate Joseph Samael and take over Contra Unit? That is a question that we will see. We have seen civil wars within the same faction. We've seen that with NWO. We've seen that with Bullet Club. We've seen that with any faction. But however, this is going to be a very interesting storyline that we're going to witness. Now, as you know, we have witnessed, of course, Alex Hammerstone. There was a report coming out saying that he is going to make a deal with the devil. And if you guys know who I'm referring to, I'm talking about Cesar Duran. Now, it appears that Alex says, "Are you kidding me? Do you really think I'm going to trust that guy?" So it looks like Hammerstone is obviously clear that Cesar Duran is not to be trusted. But we'll see what happens then. Now, Holiday, as you know, he is a rich guy. He's an investor, but he said that he has candy, that he even was talking with Alicia Atout. Now, he said he has candy that he developed from Japan, and the person who's eating it is Tajiri, ruining everything. And Tajiri tossed the whole thing. He was pissed. I think he did not like it. I don't think he likes the Japanese candy. Now, let's get to the main event, which was the casket match for the Caribbean title between Tom Filthy Lawler and King Muertes. But before King Muertes came out, a mysterious hooded figure showed up. I was surprised to find out who it was. It was Carly Perez. Now, if you guys remember, Carly Perez, she plays Catalina or Katrina, Catalina, whatever her name was in Lucha Underground. She is back. I haven't seen her for quite some time. I know she made her wrestling appearances with with Women of Wrestling, but man, is we just went back in time again with that whole thing with Mil Muertes and Katrina being by each other's side. So, was this the bargaining chip that Cesar Duran and King Muertes made a deal? Well, we don't know. The match was great. I mean, but however, we just witnessed the demise of Tom Lawler. Now, to put this match to a perspective, was this a way for Tom Lawler now to end his MLW career? Because as you guys know, I mentioned this in the news updates in the last episode, that Tom Lawler is now a free agent. If that's the case, then that means this is a better way for him to exit out of MLW. So we wish nothing more for the best of luck. I hope we can see him more somewhere, but at this moment, we'll see what happens in MLW and everything else. So I think that's it right now. So let's move on with AEW Dynamite. Alrighty. So we got AEW Dynamite. As you know, we're in the last of the semifinals of the AEW World Title Eliminator. This is going to take place at the end. But however, a replacement has been announced, and I'll get to that a little later. But let's go from the beginning all the way to the end. It opened up with Kenny Omega along with Nakazawa, who's taking on Dark Order member Alan Five Angels. Now, keep in mind, this was a match that's been 1 year in the making. If you guys don't remember, a year ago during the pandemic, Alan Angels took Kenny Omega to the limit. Now, with guys like Alan, he should have lost the match right away, but it was a good match, and it prompted him to have an opportunity to be signed with AEW, and of course, made him a member of Dark Order. And this was a really good match, but however, Alan Angels still wasn't good enough to defeat Kenny Omega. But however, Kenny hasn't forgotten when he already finished off a five with the one winged angel. He wanted to make him pay for what happened a year ago. However, here comes some cowboy shit. Hangman Adam Page shows up, and of course, Kenny takes the highway out. But however, Adam Hangman Page made it clear. He told Kenny he'll give him back his title, but told him, hold on to it tight. You only got 10 days. So basically, Hangman is becoming confident that he can beat Kenny at Full Gear. And that is something we definitely got to see. Could this be the opportunity for Hangman Page to dethrone Kenny, to finally for him to become the AEW World Champion? We'll just have to wait and see. Now, because of the implications that's taking place later on tonight, Tony Khan told Malachi Black that he's banned from ringside. The reason this is, Malachi Black still has his deep issues against Cody, but he did make a reference to Julius Caesar's. And you know the history about how Julius Caesar was stabbed multiple times by people within the Senate. And that kind of plays out in a good storyline. So basically he's saying, are you going to be stabbed like it? Then remember, this brought back to Jake the Snake Roberts when he called Cody Rhodes Julius. Will he be betrayed by those within? I don't know. Now, CM Punk comes out with an amazing promo talking about two people that weren't there. One was John Moxley. As you know, John Moxley, he is dealing with alcoholism, and he's in the program trying to deal with these issues. And Punk praises him, knowing that he did what was right. They had the courage in order to, how do I say, to have the will to admit that he has a problem, that he wants to take care of it, that he needs help in order to do that. And I think that's what Punk likes about him. Even though they're not friends, but he praises him. But also, after what happened last week, he even called out Eddie Kingston, saying after what he did in that interview when he lost the match against Bryan Danielson, he offered him an opportunity for a chance to take him on, but later on it did showed Eddie Kingston accepted. Now, Miro has been mostly spending much of his time, and I'm going to reveal this right now. During this time, it's been revealed who took the place of John Moxley in the AEW Eliminator, and that is Miro. Now, Miro goes in this deep state saying, God, are you playing tricks on me after losing the TNT title? I've forsaken you for what happened. So he's like questioning, are you playing mind games? And that kind of plays out like in a very good role, like saying, questioning God. I mean, here's the thing, I'm a Christian myself. I always tell God that I did something wrong. I say that many times in my head, but I think Miro plays a very good role as the Redeemer. And I think this is something that I never seen in Miro since he was with W, but I think I like it a lot. Now, during an interview, as you know, Superclick were not happy with the loss they had last week against the Dark Order. But however, it appears that they're going to Full Gear, and they had a little run-in with Christian and Luchasaurus. So they took the fight out with the crowd. And then, of course, Jungle Boy shows up out of the blue, and they took out both the Bucks. But however, Christian Cage put Adam Cole in a familiar move that we all know too completely, the Conjerito, the two chairs. And that put him out of, wow, that was the best moment. So the real question is, how can the Superclick respond to this? So this is going to be good, and I can't wait to see this at Full Gear. Now, our next match is for the AAA Tag Team titles in an Luchador Open Challenge, with the exception that the Lucha Brothers are not involved. The surprises that we had is, of course, it's AAA star Aerostar. He is one of my favorite wrestlers I've ever watched. I mean, the dude is amazing. But his partner is someone we're familiarized, so Samurai del Sol, or as we knew him back in WWE, Calistico. So Calisto actually reversed back to his old gimmick. Now, probably somebody say, why couldn't he keep the name? Well, you guys got to keep in mind, WWE owns the rights to that name, so basically he cannot use it. But I'm okay with the idea because it brings back to another gimmick. Man, the match was great, a great high flying. But however, you look at FTR, who believes that this high flying is a bunch of poppycock thing, that they're more of the technical, and that's exactly what they did. But however, Dax Harwood got away with it when he pulled the tights and used the rope to ensure they win and retain the titles. Now, Shivani last week, as you know, presented Hikaru Shida with the trophy of her 50th victory that she had. However, as you know, Shida won her the TBS title tournament match in the opening round against Serena Deeb. However, her next opponent, it's someone she faced in the past, and I'm talking about the woman that she dethroned in last year's Double or Nothing for the AEW World Title, and the AEW Women's World Title, and I'm talking about Nyla Rose. However, they're keeping an eye on the knee that was damaged by Serena Deeb, and that is something we know for a fact that Nyla Rose will be gunning for. She's not a slouch on this. She will exploit every weakness. Now, Inner Circle made a promise that they're going to pick the 3 likely opponents from American Top Team. As you know, Sammy Guevara won his match against Ethan Page and retaining the TNT Championship. However, Dan Lambert had an open contract saying that whoever they pick, that's who they're gonna get. So Hager picked Junior Dos Santos for obvious reasons. I wouldn't be surprised if those two will meet down the line for a match. And of course, Santos picked Andrew Orlovsky, who we know completely known as the Pitbull. But however, Lambert tried to play mind games because he had a few other people that he felt will be taking the third spot. But Paige, on the other hand, decided to say to pick her, and she said she can handle all five of them all by herself. And Jericho did a really amazing punchline saying, "You ought to put it in your OnlyFans." But however, since Lambert is a big mouth, I think the best moment is when Jericho said Dan Lambert himself is the third member. And the reason he say that, he is the number one member of American Top Team, the original member. And that basically put himself in a bad position. He denies he ever said it, but he finally caught on to him. So basically, he talks all this nonsense, but now it came back to bite him in the butt. So we're going to see that match taking place at Full Gear. Now, as you know, Dante Martin has won against Seidel in the third match. However, since he's been teaming with Leo Rush, we've seen Matt Seidel bringing a very sensational wrestler. We all know we're talking about Lee Moriarty. So Matt Seidel came up with a proposition, a tag match. Dante Martin and Leo Rush take on, of course, him, Matt Seidel, and Lee Moriarty, and of course, it's on. Now we get to the one of the opening rounds for the TBS title. We have Jamie Hayter along with Britt Baker and Rebel taking on Anna Jay. I mean, the match was good. It was great, but however, it's the numbers game that plays out. Britt Baker and Rebel played out their roles to ensure that Anna Jay loses the match, which she did. However, they decided to continue the beatdown, but the number one contender for the AEW World Women's Championship, Tay Conti, shows up to give the helping hand, but however, it was not enough until, as you know. However, someone showed up as well when even the numbers, and that is Jamie Hayter's next opponent in the AEW TBS tournament, Thunder Rosa. So basically, this is going to be one hell of a match to watch. Now, as you know, the TBS title has been the talk in AEW for quite some time. Jade Cargill is going to pay attention to the one match that she's going to pay attention at Rampage. I'm talking about the Bunny versus Red Velvet. Now, she told Mark Sterling and, of course, the people, it doesn't matter who. I mean, we all know she beat Red Velvet in that one match, and she believes that title is directly meant for her. And we could see that happen, but we're going to pay attention closely with the match and see who will Jade Cargill be her opponent coming from the opening round. Now, for a while we see MJF, who's been trying to break Darby Allin, so he really to admit that he's saying you're a low level, you're nothing. And I think it showed a lot of character, saying that he is better than Darby. Darby wanted to fight him no matter what, but however, when he tried to flee, Sting brings in an army of Darbys. But of course, he tried to get back, but the Pinnacle, Wardlow, and Sean Spears tried to help MJF, but there were no way to get to him. But Darby and MJF went into a brawl, and that led into a really amazing moment where Darby ran and then boom, clotheslined MJF right outside of the bike rail. But until he was about to apply the coffin drop, and MJF hightailed it out of there. Now our next match is between Andrade El Idolo versus Cody Rhodes. The match was pretty good. It showed a lot of good character, especially when Andrade has Jose, the interpreter, helping him out, and Arn has to try to deal with it. But however, while he's dealing with this problem, the ref was distracted and he did not see Cody get a hit with the AAA Tag Team titles by FTR. It appears that MJF and Andrade still have a deal. And then once that was happening, It allowed for Andrade to win the match. However, they were trying to give Cody and Arn Anderson a beatdown until they were rescued by none other than the FTR's opponents, the Lucha Brothers. And this is going to be an all-out war between who is the better tag team. Now, John Silver, on the other hand, as you guys have been watching being the Elite, has been trying to help Adam Cole, but now it appears we're going to see him face Adam Cole at Rampage. But the real question is, will Adam Cole be 100% after what he's been through with the Concerto? And that is something we definitely got to pay attention. Now, before we get to the main event, which is in the semifinals of the AEW World Title Eliminator, the opponent who won his semifinals, of course, is Brian Danielson, who's joining the commentary group. Now, the match between Miro and Orange Cassidy was amazing. I have to say it was pretty good. But however, Matt Hardy was right there watching. I don't know if he was determined to get involved, but however, it was just too much for Orange Cassidy to take on the Redeemer. He couldn't even apply the orange punch until he put him in the camel clutch and forced Orange Cassidy to tap out. But once this whole thing was over, here comes Brian Danielson into the ring to look at Miro in the eye and tell him that I got you at Full Gear. So remember, these two will be facing each other in Full Gear. Whoever wins will get a shot of the AEW World Title. Could be Kenny or Hangman Page. And I'm very excited what's going to happen in Full Gear on the November 12th. Alrighty, so it's Yoshi Wrestling time. We got the first one we're going to do is Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. This one took place back on early July for the Inspiration number 2. Now, fortunately, they only had 3 matches involved. Now, some of you say that could be the most boring thing ever. I mean, I would agree with you, but there were some good matches. The first match we have is Arisu Endo taking on Moka Miyamoto. I have to say I have witnessed Moka Miyamoto grown so much. She has been a really interesting wrestler to follow. Her ring gear was unique. I always did picture her as a flower girl for some reason, but I have to say she has developed great, as growing as a wrestler. I've seen Rizu do the same thing, but I have to say these two put up a hell of a match. Back and forth with submissions, back and forth with pinfalls, but fortunately they reached their 15-minute time limit. So the match ended in a draw. And I have to say, I give Moka Kiyomoto thumbs up. She really did a fantastic job in this match. Now, our next match we have is Izumi taking on the magical girl, Yuka Sakazaki. I have to say this was a very interesting match. Now, as you know, Yuka Sakazaki is much well-known, respected in Tokyo Joshi Pro. I kind of thought Suzumu did a pretty good job. As you know, she's also growing. But however, is Yuka Sakazaki, who has a bit much of experience than her. And I think it played out very well. But however, fortunately, Suzumu did not come out of this with a W. It was Yuka Sakazaki with the magical splash. And boom, it was over from there. Now, our last match, it's not a typical wrestling match. This is UWF rules match. Now, for some of you are saying, what the hell is UWF? It's more like grappling mixed with kickboxing or fighting. This is something I have seen on other promotions, but this is one I did not expect. But however, I feel this was on the wheelhouse with one of the competitors. The first competitor is Mirai Miyaomi taking on the princess champion Miyu Yamashita. And this is Miyu Yamashita's wheelhouse. She is an expert martial artist, if you guys knew that already. And I think this is her wheelhouse because she's training karate. I'm not sure about grappling or anything, but if she did, it was great. However, the match ended with a beautiful spinning heel kick right into Mirai's face, and I thought it was amazing. And I know many people would love to see her come to the U.S. I know when people found out that the AEW Women's Championship Eliminator was taking place, they would have loved to see her there. But even Kenny is interested in bringing her to the U.S. for AEW. But man, she's impressive. I think Yamashita is an impressive wrestler. So I think that's it right now with Tokyo Joshi Pro. So let's move on with World Woman Pro Wrestling Diana. Okay, so we got World Woman Pro Wrestling Diana. This took place on the 20th of June. There is no title on this one. Uh, First match is a three-way match. One is Madeline taking on Miyamoko um, Matsumoto versus Ayako Sato. Now, there is a little advantage on this particular match. Both Madeline and Ayako are both in the same faction, Crisis. Now, this ended up in a what you call a 2-on-1 scenario, but of course, there are moments where we'll see Madeline and Ayako will battle each other just to keep Miyako out of the way so these two can pick up the victory. And that kind of played out pretty well. But however, the biggest upset was Miyako, who actually pulled a kind of like a similar move that Taichi does, where he rolls down and his legs on the person's torso, and boom, it causes to win the matches. And that's what exactly Miyako did. She did that with Madeline. I thought it was a great moment. Now, this is one of my favorite matches of that night, a great opener. Now, however, there's been reviews about this match where it wasn't that good, but we have um, Nanami versus Sakura Iroda versus Jaguar Yokota. Now, as you know, there much of the moments, as you guys know, Sakura Iroda, she is a bit of a comedian. You know, nothing compared like Antonia Honda, but uh, she can hold her own. I felt like there was too many stops in this match, but however, it was Sakurai who picked up the victory on Nanami in order to pick up the W. But I felt like there was too many, you know, pauses, too many, and I didn't like it that way. Now, our last match, this one was very short. I don't know why it was short. This is a tag match between Aruka Imazaki and Tai Hamna taking on Miyuki Takase and Kyoko Inoue. I don't know why this match was so short, but I felt this one was the worst one out of this one and the second match because it was Kyoko who pulled off a Hurricanrana on Umazaki, and I just felt like this was like a bit of the waste of time for that. I mean, look, the opening match was great. I think it played out very well, but this one, the second match and the third, I mean, I don't know what was that. I just felt like, that's what I felt about it. But hopefully in the upcoming ones that I've seen, they'll be better. But right now, let's go end it with Stardom. Okay, the last thing I'm going to review is Stardom, which is one of the three Yoshi promotions I mentioned. This took place back on May 23rd of this year, and it's going to be at Kofu. Now, I want to put a note on this. This is a special day for everyone. If you guys know your history, why is this a special day? This is the 1 year anniversary of the passing of Hana Komura. You all remember that. That was the day the wrestling world lost Hana when she took her own life, all thanks to cyberbullying. All wrestlers, with the exception of Konami, Fukigen Def, Natsupoi, and Suri, were not present If you guys remember or not, they were booked in a match in the Hana Kimura Memorial Matinee show, which was a good show. However, almost all the wrestlers come out and they gave their moment of silence in memory of Hana Kimura, and I thought that was very beautiful because she deserves to be remembered for the kind of person she was, and people loved her for what she did for in the wrestling world. And we know we're going to miss her. We miss her dearly, and we all can do is remember all the things she's done. Now, the opening match we have Hana versus Maika. Now, seems like an easy match for Maika because she has much of experience. Hina, who we know she has a judo background, but how I feel like Maika has much of the experience to her, it kind of fits into her way. And that's exactly what happened. So Maika put her out in a big bang and applied the 1, 2, 3 in order to win the match. And that shows Maika who she really is. Our next match is tag team action. We have Lady C teaming on with Cosmic Angel Unagi Sayaka taking on Stars Hana and Starlight Kid. Now keep in mind, Unagi still has issues towards Stars because they had been in a rivalry in the past, especially when she stirred things up with Starlight Kid. But however, Lady C did mention she did lost 3 matches against Starlight Kid in single matches. But however, this did not end well for Lady C when Starlight Kid pulled off the moonsault. It ended in 1, 2, 3, allowing for her and Hanan to win the match. Our next match is another pair of tag teams. We got Odo Tai, Ruka, and Atsuko Tora taking on Queen's Quest, Azumi, and Momo Watanabe. Now, as you know, Odo Tai likes to attack their opponents as soon as they announce their names in order to get a head start. But however, as there was a great moment where we had Azumi and Ruka facing off. Now keep in mind, Ruka is the new girl in the block. Azumi has a much better experience, but however, her high-speed techniques are unmatched to her. So basically, once she put her in a big submission, she forced Ruka to tap out, allowing for her and Momo to win the match. Our next match, we have Mayu Iwatani versus Julia. Now, this is not the first time these two have come across each other. Their last encounter ended up where Mayu lost to Julia. I have to say the match was incredible. These two are leaders of their own respective factions. Mayu is the leader of Stars, while Julia is the leader of DDM. And it was unbelievable. And they were doing everything, submissions, pinfalls, everything until the bell rang. It was over right from there. It was a time limit draw. But they even put out a good promo. They saying that they're thankful the fans are there, but also they paid their respects to their fallen comrade. We're talking about Hana, and I think it showed that they want to continue keeping her memory alive, and that's very special right there. Now our main event, we have the Cosmic Angels, Mina Shirakawa and Tam Nakano versus Queen's Quest, Saya Kamitani, and of course the current World of Stardom champion, Utami Hayashida. Now, this type of match does have implications for the Goddesses of Tag Team titles, which are currently right now in the hands of Julia and Sarui from DDM. It was a pretty good match. I mean, great moments, especially. However, apparently, Mina did have a great moment taking on Utami Hayashida. As you know, she's been considered as one of the best wrestlers in the world and the longest reigning red belt champion. And I thought it was good, but however, it was Utami who put Mina Shirakawa in a suplex, and it was over right there with it 1, 2, 3. It was a pretty good match. I think it was good. I think I like the show. So I can't wait to review more for all of you that I still haven't seen, but there is more to come. So keep more updates to that. But for now, I think it's time for some news updates for all of you. Okay, so we got some news updates for all of you. The first one was announced earlier. It was reported by various news outlets. It appears that Impact Wrestling had some releases, about five of them. We have Tommy Dreamer, No Way, Taylor Wilde, TJP, and PD Williams. Now, I wouldn't be surprised why Tommy Dreamer was released. As you guys know, he was suspended because of that controversial thing that he did during that documentary in Dark Side of the Ring with the planes from hell. And it made perfect sense. Now, No Way Jose, they weren't utilizing him that much. And I felt with the same thing I felt about Taylor Wilde. I mean, she did came back. We haven't seen her for quite some time. And then TJP, well, I can guess maybe because he's getting more involved with New Japan. As you know, he is now currently a member of what's their name? Oh yeah, United Empire, and I think maybe his role has to be played out for that. And of course, Petey Williams, we all know where he is going right now. If you guys heard or not, he is on a tryout to be a producer for WWE, and I think that's going to be a very interesting thing to see. Now, you guys know recently Ring of Honor are currently released their talent not that too long ago. However, it was revealed that Ring of Honor are in a $12 million in debt. There was certain things that took place because of the Sinclair broadcast, the owners of Ring of Honor, and I think there was some sort of app that was taking place that wasted a lot of money. Now, could this be the reason that they took place because of the releases? It could be. I don't know. But however, it's still unclear what much has been being foretold about it. I don't know. Now, as you know, there are times we like to talk about contracts that are being either expired or extended. Right now, we got some contracts being expired. It was foretold from the Wrestling Observer that Kyle O'Reilly's contract with the WWE is going to expire this December of 2021. And I know some of you are saying he's probably going to go to AEW to reunite with Bobby Fish to bring back Red Dragon. I mean, that would be great. I don't think they're going to put him involved with Adam Cole. I mean, I would rather see him team with Bobby Fish for another tag team title run for themselves. But also, the next person that was announced that their contracts was being expired was, in fact, Juice Robinson. His contract with New Japan expires by January of 2022. Uh, I don't know where he can land. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Impact or NWA or wherever he's going to go. And I think we definitely will be behind him 100%. Now, it's been announced for some new debuts coming forward. Former WWE superstar from Onyx and also the former NXT North American champion Leon Ruff has been announced that he is heading to GCW for Evil Deeds. That they'll be taking place on the 12th of November, and I'm very excited to see him. But it's still unclear what whose opponent is for that particular day. Now, for the first time, I'm gonna do this for all of you, and I think it's time for hold on, spoil alert. Now, if you guys have paying attention, either on Twitter or on YouTube, Emi Sakura has been applying for her own factions, the Killer Queens. And she made her AEW debut. I'm talking about the Big Apple, or those who call her the Goblin Apple. I'm talking about Mei Shiruga, everyone. Mei Shiruga is an AEW. Yes, there's photos on Mei Shiruga's Twitter page. It's nuts. I did not expect her. Now, some of you probably question, is she going to be going with AEW full time? I don't know. It all depends on what she could bring to the table. I know for a fact AEW is one of the promotions she would want to go to because, as you guys know, her teacher is Emi Sakura. She was the one who brought her into the Got to Move Pro Wrestling Academy. But what does this mean for Balianaki and her? Are they have to relinquish their tag team titles? I mean, Balinaki said on live on YouTube that he's not giving up his title yet. But it all depends on what I think is going to happen. If Mei Shiruga is signed with AEW, it would be a possibility that maybe they have to relinquish the tag titles. I don't know, but only time will tell. And hopefully, I think they might put this Mei Shiruga's appearance either on AEW Elevation or Dark. I don't know which one, but we definitely need to pay attention. So if you guys Mei Shiruga fans, get ready for her being on AEW. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this episode with me reviewing, of course, AEW, MLW, and of course, three past events from three different Yoshi promotions from separate months. And of course, I can't wait to review more for all of you. So, coming up, we have NXT UK and Impact Wrestling. But however, I will review a past event by Premier Wrestling Federation, the Colby Corino's 25th anniversary show that took place late August. But if I do have time, I will throw in another past event. Don't know which one. If I do have time, but if not, then we'll just stick with three for now because I'm going to do some errands during the day. But that's it for I got for all of you. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.